Hello everyone, welcome to Trades Talk Tuesday. I am your host, Pop Culture Mechanic. Please call me Pop for short. And, as I so often do, this being a Tuesday, I'm going to be discussing about the skilled trades, what you need to get into them, and any questions that you may have about them. I'll try to explain it as best I can, having been in the trades for 25 years. I do think I know a little bit about what I'm talking about, and have been involved in quite a few projects, which I will share with you as well. But let's start it off, as I always do, with a little bit of news from the industry. See right here. Nope, not that one. That's not the one. Doggone it. There we go. We'll just go like this. And yeah, that'll be good enough. We'll start off with a little bit from Plant Magazine, just to see what's going on in recent news here. And from what I can see, Google axes 12,000 jobs, layoffs spread across tech sector. Okay, well, I bet you they're wishing they had learned to trade. And hello to you, David, or Joseph. I can't remember which. I get mixed up, but welcome. Yes, Google axes 12,000 jobs. What kind of jobs, I wonder? Google's laying off 12,000 workers, or about 6% of its workforce, becoming the latest tech company to trim staff as the economic boom that the industry rode during the COVID pandemic ebbs. Google's CEO, Sundar Pichai, who also leads its parent company Alphabet, informed staff Friday at the Silicon Valley giant about the cuts in an email that was also posted on the company's news blog. Oh, it's usually David. Okay, excellent. And welcome, Alex. Good to see you. It is the company's biggest ever round of layoffs and adds to tens of thousands of other job losses recently announced by Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, parent Meta, and other tech companies as they tighten their belts amid a darkening outlook for the industry. Just this month, there have been at least 48,000 job cuts announced by major companies in the sector. Over the past 2 years, we've seen periods of dramatic growth, Pichai wrote. To match and fuel that growth, we hired for a different economic reality than the one we face today. He said the layoffs reflect a rigorous review carried out by Google and its operations. The jobs being eliminated cut across Alphabet product areas, functions, levels, and regions, Pichai said. He said he was deeply sorry for the layoffs. Regulatory filings illustrate how Google's workforce swelled during the pandemic, ballooning to nearly 187,000 people by late last year, from 119,000 at the end of 2019. Pichai said that Google, founded nearly a quarter of a century ago, was bound to go through difficult economic cycles. These are important moments that sharpen our focus, re-engineer our cost base, and direct our talent and capital to our highest priorities, he wrote. He called out the company's investments in artificial intelligence as an area of opportunity. There will be job cuts in the US and in other unspecified countries, according to Pichai's letter. Tech companies that not long ago were the darlings of the stock market have been forced to freeze hiring and cut jobs in preparation for an economic downturn, said a note from Victoria Scholar, an analyst with UK-based Interactive Investment. Digital spending is suffering and ad revenues are falling with it, she wrote. Just this week, Microsoft announced 10,000 job cuts, or at least 5% of its workforce. Amazon said this month it is cutting 18,000 jobs, although that is a fraction of its 1.5 million strong workforce. While business software maker Salesforce is laying off about 8,000 employees, or 10% of the total. Last fall, Facebook parent Meta announced it would shed 11,000 positions, or 13% of its workers. Elon Musk slashed jobs at Twitter after they didn't write this correctly. They go after. Just terrible. Come on. Double check your articles. After he acquired the social media company last fall. Those job cuts are hitting smaller players as well. UK-based cybersecurity firm Sophos laid off 450 employees, or 10% of its global workforce. Cryptocurrency trading platform Coinbase cut 20% of its workforce, about 950 jobs in its second round of layoffs in less than a year. Employment in the U.S. has been resilient despite signs of slowing economy, and there are another 223,000 jobs added in December, yet the tech sector grew exceptionally fast over the last several years due to increased demand as employees began to work remotely. All that Fed money dried up. Yep, there you go, you nailed it right there. And really, they don't tell you exactly what jobs these are that are going away. I'm really curious to know which jobs are getting cut. The article goes on, CEOs of a number of companies have taken blame for growing too fast, yet those same companies, even after the latest round of job cuts, remain much larger than they were before the economic boom from the pandemic began. I take full responsibility for the decisions that led us here, Bitchute wrote. Yeah, but you're not the one losing your job, are you? You can make mistakes and you still have your job. You're not laid off. While the tech layoffs are shocking numbers, their effect on tech industry employment is nowhere near as bad as what it seems, says John Blevins, an adjunct professor at Cornell University's Business School. These workers who were laid off will readily get new jobs, most likely at smaller tech companies. They're coming with high credentials from these big firms. That knowledge will be transferred and will actually work to everyone's benefit. I wonder if they actually feel like that. In their layoff announcements, both Bitchute and Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella emphasized the importance of capitalizing on their advances in artificial intelligence technology, reflecting renewed competition between the tech giants sparked by Microsoft's growing partnership with the San Francisco startup OpenAI. And that's the end of the article. I have a bad feeling about AI. I don't think we should be praising it so much and letting it think for us, because then you just become a dumb human. You become a sack of meat that can't think when you're letting AI do all the thinking for you. So my opinion is it's not a good idea. Stop it. Stop doing with the AI. Stop praising it. It is going to run the average person out of a job. So I would think, I know companies like it because AI is you don't have to pay it, you don't have to pay benefits, just let it do its job, and it'll eventually think for you. So I don't think that's very good either. Not enough humans, not enough people think for themselves or can think any kind of critical thinking exercise anyway. Now you're going to have AI to do the thinking for you? I don't agree with that at all. What else we got here? Job cuts in tech sector spread. Microsoft lays off 10,000. Okay, well, we saw that. Amazon axes charity program amid wider cost-cutting moves. Did I read this last week? No. BDC leads US $50 million funding round for Calgary-based lithium company. Well, we all know you need lithium for the new batteries that are being used in all the electric cars. So they're trying to put it into a company that will they mine it? Let's see. A new fund launched in November by Business Development Bank of Canada to help foster the growth of homegrown climate technology has made its largest investment yet. The Crown Corporation's investment arm, BDC Capital, along with Vancouver-based Evoke Innovations, recently co-led a Series A2 financing round that raised $50 million in investment capital for Summit Nanotech, a Calgary-based lithium technology company. The company, which has developed a proprietary lithium extraction technology, says it uses less water and chemicals and produces fewer emissions than traditional extraction methods. Currently operates a multi-client pilot project in Chile and is working towards commercialization. While BDC did not disclose the exact amount it invested itself, the total US $50 million raised by Summit Nanotech included other investors, included Zora Innovation and Capricorn Investment Group, as well as a consortium of climate-focused funds. It confirmed its investment was the largest yet from its $400 million climate tech fund. The fund, announced in November 2022, aims to address the lack of risk capital for the commercialization and scale-up of Canada's clean tech and climate tech industry. It follows up where BDC's first $600 million climate Tech Fund, which was launched in 2018 and is now fully committed, left off by seeking investments in technologies that will help Canada reach its goal of achieving net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2030. Those technologies include things like lithium, a key component in the manufacturing of electric vehicle batteries, as well as other promising technologies such as hydrogen, carbon capture and storage, low carbon concrete, and more. Sherry Corbett, senior partner with BDC Capital's Climate Tech Fund, said only 5% of venture capital investment in Canada in 2021 went into climate-related technology and clean tech. That's compared with 14% of venture capital investment globally. BDC's Climate Tech Fund was meant to help bridge the gap by supporting the longer development timeframes and larger capital needs typical of many climate tech ventures, she said. Most of these technologies and other ones focus on, in particular, are hard tech, deep tech opportunities. So as a function of that, they take more money and they take longer. We've created a fund that can really dig in, invest in these companies early, and really follow through. And not all funds are built that way. BDC also helps to prevent Canadian entrepreneurs from needing to move to the US or another jurisdiction in order to scale up their technologies. Summit Nanotech CEO Amanda Hall said the investment from BDC allowed her company to retain its status as a Canadian-controlled company, since much of the company's prior investment capital came from clean tech-savvy investors in Singapore, the US, and Australia. 90% of our employees are Canadian. Our manufacturing is done in Canada. The technology is Canadian, so we wanted that Canadian recognition, Hall said. A report released Tuesday by Deloitte said that roughly 1,100 clean technology or clean tech companies across Canada today. These companies represent approximately 3.1% of GDP, according to Deloitte, and more than 210,000 jobs. Deloitte reports that venture capital funding for clean tech in Canada grew to $342 million in the second quarter of 2022, up 21.6% from the first quarter, and a 223% increase year over year. But the report also said that private sector investment in research and development, as well as technology adoption in Canada, remain well below the global average. The Deloitte report said that if Canada is to meet its climate targets, it must do better at transitioning promising startups within the sector into an industrial base of companies that can become globally competitive, dominant players. Decarbonization becomes more expensive the longer action is delayed. Okay, my response to this is our population is only about 36 million. We are a tiny population in a large country. I would think that anything that we supposedly add to greenhouse gases is negligible compared to big places like India and China. So maybe they should concentrate more on those countries rather than worrying about us having to shrink our footprint. We are a very small population in this world. That's what I think about that. What else we got here? We saw that. To advance a North American idea, fortify bond between Canada and Mexico, experts say. A quarter of Canadians think prices will eventually fall. Here's why that's unlikely. Well, we might have there is inflation, but prices falling? I don't know how. What goes up doesn't necessarily come down. That's contrary to the sentiment of a surprisingly large proportion of respondents to the Bank of Canada's quarterly consumer expectations survey released last week. According to the survey, more than a quarter of Canadians believe the current decade's high prices will drop 5 years from now. What goes up must come down. The sentiment likely raised eyebrows at the central bank. The chance of deflation in 5 years is extremely unlikely, Laval University economics professor Stephen Gordon said. Though some prices will come down, as has been the case with gasoline prices, higher prices for food feed into each other through the supply chain and become baked into the economy. It started getting embedded in people's expectations and it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, he says. Meanwhile, the Bank of Canada said confusion between deflation and disinflation wasn't the reason the figure was so high, noting that its survey respondents understood the difference. The central bank regularly monitors inflation expectations in the economy to make sure it has control over price growth, with inflation running well above 2% target. Inflation expectations have been a top concern for the Bank of Canada. All of these central banks and that, they are the cause of any of our problems that we have. They control the interest rates. They control that all, whether they want it to go up or go down. You want your economy to have a fall on hard times, just raise interest rates. People will be losing their houses, and it'll be a big domino effect. This years they spent at 0% or very low interest rates, 1% or whatever, it was dumb. That was artificial too. They artificially lowered it so that money would flow easily, and it was just a big scam. So I don't trust anything these guys say, because they can easily manipulate the whole economy and make life harder for all of us. Okay, so that's it for that. I was looking today, and I saw this on the Digital Journal. Looming skilled tradespeople crisis leads to an opportunity in the HVAC, plumbing, and electric industry. And this was published today. And it starts out with, the number of skilled tradespeople in the plumbing, HVAC, and electric service industries continues to fall short of what is needed. Art plumbing? Air conditioning and electric is one company experiencing this critical shortage. Coral Springs, Florida, January 24th. Newswire. Art Plumbing, Air Conditioning, Electric, a leading provider of residential and commercial services in Southeast Florida, is one of thousands of companies contending with a critical shortage of skilled plumbers, HVAC technicians, and electricians in the service industry. We are struggling to keep up with demand for our services due to the continued shortage of skilled technicians in the field, stated Greg Datil, President and CEO of Art Plumbing, Air Conditioning, and Electric. This is being driven by a number of factors, including an aging workforce. Yes, we've heard of that before. The older tradespeople are retiring, so you better get the younger people in there to fill in for them. Yeah, aging workforce, a lack of young people entering the trades. Yes. You must stress to the young people that it is not a job to be looked down upon. It shouldn't be frowned upon if a young person wants to get into the trades. It should be encouraged. During an interview with WSFL TV Miami's Inside South Florida, Greg Datil told host Jason Carter, we're probably 200,000 people short in the industry right now. And that number is growing. As a result, many home services companies across the country are struggling to hire skilled technicians. Art Plumbing, Air Conditioning, and Electric is working to address this by actively recruiting and training new technicians, offering highly competitive wages and benefits, and providing ongoing support and professional development for their new hires and existing workforce. We are committed to investing in our employees and the future of our industry, said Matthew Datil, Sewer and Drain Division Director. It is our belief that investing in our employees is the key to providing the highest level of service to our customers. We encourage anyone with a passion for the trades to consider a career in plumbing, HVAC, or electrical work. The shortage of skilled tradespeople is growing concern for the industry as a whole. Many experts attribute the shortage to a lack of investment in vocational training programs, as well as negative perception of trade jobs. Art Plumbing, Air Conditioning, and Electric is partnering with local high schools and trade schools to help encourage the next generation of technicians to enter the field. College isn't the answer for everyone, said Christopher Datil, HVAC service manager. More college graduates are working unfulfilling underpaid jobs and still paying off student loans. Right now, there are jobs ready and waiting in the service industries that come with great pay, career opportunities, and job security. Greg Datil invited those interested in learning about a career in the trades to reach out, saying, if Art Plumbing, Air Conditioning, and Electric sounds like the right fit for you, and you value a fun, family-oriented workplace, the team would love to meet you. Visit the careers page at artcanfixit.com to view a complete list of available positions and to submit your application. Join the Art Plumbing, Air Conditioning, and Electric family and discover what it's like to work for one of South Florida's most loved and respected companies. And there's the contact information. If you are in that area and you are interested in the trades, I would definitely contact them. Because you are one of the most valuable Tradesmen being in the HVAC industry. When it's hot, people want air conditioning. When it's cold, people want heating. You are needed all year round. Plumbing. When something goes wrong with your toilet, your sink, hot water heater, you're going to be calling a plumber. Electrical. Something's wrong. You need a new panel installed. Breakers redone. You're going to get an electrician. And these guys are always going to be busy. Another article I saw today. Northern BC hit hardest by shortage of skilled trades. Scramble for workers boosts costs and delays projects. You don't have enough people to do the job. How can you get the job done when you don't have enough people? This is from the Alaska Highway News. While supply chain disruptions have eased for many contractors across BC, finding skilled trades remains a challenge. The perennial shortage of workers is set to reach new heights this year, according to the Independent Contractors and Business Association. ICBA's latest survey of members indicates that 80% of contractors say they don't have enough workers, up from 75% last year. Moreover, 77% of employers say a lack of workers is the single biggest challenge they face in 2023. The shortage of people is intensifying as Canada continues to go over a demographic cliff, ICBA President Chris Gardner said in releasing the association's annual wage and benefits survey on January 17th. BC construction companies are increasing pay and benefits, adopting new technology faster than ever, and recruiting everywhere they can, but they're still falling short of filling positions. The situation is particularly acute in northern BC, where major projects demand workers who just can't be found. Northern BC was the least impacted by the labor shortage last year, with 71% of employers saying they couldn't find enough workers, the lowest proportion of any region in the province. This year, it is at the top of the charts, with 92% of companies saying they can't find workers. The lack of workers hits builders and suppliers alike. ICBA member EPSCAN Industries of Fort St. John says demand for workers has outstripped training efforts. It's opened an office in Grand Prairie, Alberta, 2 years ago and faces challenges hiring enough skilled workers for projects. BC construction sites employ approximately 250,000 people. The shortage of skilled trades is causing wages to inch up. ICBA anticipates wages rising 6% this year in response to strong demand. That will fuel higher project costs, with 71% of companies paying a premium for workers rather than turn down work. According to the ICBA survey, 59% of companies are refusing work because of the labor shortage. Approximately half of the companies are delaying work or extending construction timelines to make better use of the workers they have. Once again, projects in northern BC will be most affected by these delays, as 75% expect to field more work in 2023. This makes the region the busiest area of the province and getting busier. According to the latest edition of the BC Major Projects Inventory, 55% of major projects tracked by the province are in northern BC. And this is what I've been saying ever since day one, starting up Trades Talk, is there is a shortage, and they will take anybody with 2 feet and a heartbeat. You can make it here in the trades easily. When I was doing my trade school, my instructor was telling us that when we get out, we would be able to pick and choose our trades jobs that we want to do. It was crazy, and it was hard for us to believe that that would happen. But that's what he said. He said, when you get out of here, you guys will be able to, because of all the retiring older workers, you guys will be able to pick and choose which jobs you want to go to. And here it is. It's come true. Tradesmen can pick and choose whatever job they want to get into. Yeah, so that's my rant for today on getting into the trades. There is more than enough opportunity. And if you look up your area that you live in, type in whatever area you live in and type in, trades shortage or list of trade schools, or even search a job search, something like Indeed, I guess. You could use that and type in whatever trade in whatever area you're in and just look at the list. Just get populated with lots of trades jobs. So enough of that though. Let's try to move on to a little bit of safety. Safety on the job. And with that, we will go to here. We'll go here and here. I will keep my eye on the chat window while I look at, while I shrink that down. There we go. And is that there? And as you can see, when you have a leak, and this was coming out of this drum digester up top here. I don't know if you can see it. We'll zoom in a bit. It had a leaking seal, and this is all just wood chips, and it started off and it just kept falling and falling and falling, and nobody noticed it. No one noticed it. And well, all the wood chips eventually stacked up this large size, and now you're blocking an exit door. So there you go, right there. That is, you should never block an exit, never block a safety door, or safety exit. So that is something to report. And then they have to come in here with a skid steer or bobcat or whatever and clean it up and get it moved out from the door, which eventually happened. But there you go. That is a large pile of wood chips blocking an exit door. This is a good one. This is somebody was emptying out bales into the dumpster, and he must have tilted a little too far, because then it tipped over and it took the forklift with it. So I think I got a few shots, different angles. There's the mast there. There's what it looked up top. So those were the two bales, one stacked on top of another, and he was dumping them in there, and yeah, it just pulled him over because it reached the outside of the stability triangle. This was too much weight on the end, it moved the center of gravity over, and over it went. And the operator, he got out. I'm pretty sure he got reprimanded though for that. But he's okay. But you can see there's some, now the engine has leaked oil onto the ground. So there's another shot of it from there. A little better shot of the oil that spilt out of the engine. So I had to rope this off, as I did with the danger tape. And I had to use the crane to latch on to the back end of this, so that when those bales came off, we could easily let it down nice and gently without it smashing to the ground. Because you don't want to do that. You got to be gentle with this machinery. There's another shot there of it. So yeah, after this happened, we let it down. I think they got one of the grapples to come out and grab onto these bales and lift them off the forklift. Up next is, let's see here, I gotta change my view. There we go. Okay. So, don't ever do this. This is, someone thought it would be a good idea to be able to hold the fitting, the air fitting, with a tie strap. That's not good. That doesn't work. It will loosen off in time, and this thing will come shooting out of there. So you always use a metal clamp. Either use a metal hose clamp, or use a it's got two ears on it, and it's a circle clamp. And you crush the two ears on it, and it never comes loose. So yes, that is a big no-no. So whoever did that should have got slapped for that. You don't ever do that. Let's see, what do we got coming up next for safety? Oh, so when the guys come to you and say that there's something there's a box that's exposed. So this is just your regular electrical plug-in, but we come across that and it's like, what's going on? Like, what happened here? Did you guys hit it with something? But no one will ever tell you what actually happened. There won't ever be any kind of honesty when it comes to, well, what happened to this thing? There was like, you either say they don't know, or, oh, something happened. So yes, this wasn't bad. Just check the wires to make sure none are exposed, and then I believe the electrician put the cover back on and screwed it down. Here's something for you. All right. You got to make sure that your welders are actually real welders. And one way to do that is to get them to build something. So we had this fella. He had a welding ticket from a different country. And when you're looking at stuff like this, that is not good penetration. That is not any kind of a weld. This will break apart right away. You just got stuff, it looks like it's cold welded. It's not hot enough. It didn't do enough penetration. So this is, and I got, you don't have to take my not my advice, but take my word for it. I had my welder, my actual welder from my crew look at these, and he's like, yeah, this is no good. You got porosity here, like that's terrible. So always make sure you check people's credentials, and there's nothing wrong with giving them a little test to do to see if they're telling you the truth about their, yeah, see, as you can see, things are marked here, re-weld, yeah, it gets pointed to there. So there's a lot of, yeah, see, re-weld, that one. So always make sure you check people's skills if you're involved with them, because some people might not be telling the truth and just trying to fool everyone just so they can have that paycheck. Here's a railing that had a crack in it. It was held together by, once again, tie wraps. And so when we discovered this on my crew, we're like, well, we better get the welding machine and get our welder to fix it up. And he did. He fixed it all up. He did a good job, as he always did. Okay, yeah. Fork attachments. I don't know how you blow out the side of a fork attachment for your Bobcat. Like, stuff gets beat on, yes, but blowing it out the side like this? What were you pulling on? What was going on? We never did find out what Now, you can't repair this, or you shouldn't repair this at your shop. You have to send it away to an attachment manufacturer, and they have to do it. Yeah, look at that. That's just crazy. Just ripped wide open. I don't know how, and that's thick. That's not like that's tiny, like gauge steel. That's like 1/4 inch thick. You're putting a lot of force on to bust that like that. Just amazing. Blows you away. Makes you wonder what they're doing. That's the abuse that's out there. Some guys treat the machinery. They treat it just terribly. They just drive it into the ground. They don't care. I mean, this thing's your livelihood. You want the machinery to be in top condition so you can get your job done and not have to struggle. Makes the shift go by faster too. Oh, you got to watch out for syringes when you're working at the garbage dump, because you never know where you're going to find them. People don't dispose of them properly like they're supposed to, and you happen to run into one of these. I don't think it's got the needle on it, but still, it's something you got to watch out for. You always made sure you kept your eyes open. Once again, it's a fork attachment, And now this has ripped off, and this is what sits on the machine and locks them into place. This piece here, how did that get pulled out like that? There should not be enough force to pull that away from there. But there it is. Guys just were so hard on attachments, it's unbelievable. And you would never get a straight answer. There's another shot of it there. So this is the backside we're looking at, and that's what sits on the framework of the machine and gets locked into place. And that way, and any attachment, whether it's a bucket or a clamshell or a grapple or forks like this, back part would sit on the machine, and these are what the pins go through to lock it into place. And they just mangled it. Unbelievable. Another shot of that. So you can see there's the backrest. And yeah, that one's intact. You know, that thing's going to latch in nice. That's not. Lifting devices like come-alongs. The most abused lifting device I have ever seen. They get overloaded. They get side pull on them. You know, you can see in this one, the latch for the hook is just mangled to the side. And the hook has probably been stretched as well. Once the hook is stretched, throw it out. Yeah, or change the hook out, because that is not going to be safe to hold on to anything. Same on either end. As soon as that hook is stretched, throw it out, get another one. But these are always the ones that are abused the most. Same with these ones. This is one of the smaller ones. These are only good for about 500 pounds, I think. But they're so handy, guys just use them, and look, there you go. Stretched, and then the latch comes out, and there you go. That one's busted off completely. All that's left is part of the spring. Once again, either get and you're going to have to measure the distance across the hook to make sure it's within tolerance. Otherwise, take it off here. Just unbolt it from the chain, take it off, throw it in the garbage. Or scrap metal bin. Throw it in the scrap metal bin and then get a new one. Same thing this. This one's a 3/4 ton. This one's got same thing. Latch. Just boom. Done. Hi Godzilla. Lurk mode, I appreciate it. Every little watch helps, you know. Gets a little lonely sometimes, but I don't mind even if people are lurking. Okay, here we go. I believe this is a chute. And obviously, as you can see, somebody put some wood over to cover a hole. But that's where where all the stuff hits it and wears it away. So I think after that, I think that was me that put that cover over that just to keep stuff from spilling out of there. So a little bit of repair. Not the best thing to do. Best thing to do is pull the wood all off and replace with a sheet of steel. But depending on the amount of time you have, it might not be possible. You might just have to do a stopgap measure like that until there's a shutdown or something that you can do. Oh, and there's the video for the testing the life jacket. See if we can do it with sound this time. Tell me, I hope you guys can hear this. So yes, we were trying it out. This is a settling pond for human waste. And so we were trying out the life jackets, because no one ever knew if you fell in whether the life jacket would be able to support you and all your gear. As you're loaded down, with me, with my boots and wintered wear on and stuff like that, it added a good 20 pounds to my weight. So would that been able to, and it doesn't look like it, but we were told later on that we used the wrong dummy. We were supposed to use one that had like bladders in it to simulate a human a little more. That one didn't. That was just 200 pounds of dead weight, and that thing just sunk to the bottom. That's why we tied the rope onto it, so afterwards we could pull it up. And there you go. And he's right, the life jacket did nothing. I've got another one for you, another video. This one is, oh, well, not here. Okay, hang on. No. There we go. This one is what happens when you don't have good enough drainage. This is all supposed to be dry, and it's not. After a heavy rain, this is the low point. So where does all the rain gather? Right here. So you end up putting like boards, making little landings so that you can at least walk without getting soaked up to your ankles. So yeah, you make those little wooden platforms. And those help you keep dry, at least until it dries out a bit and you get into not such a long stretch of rainy weather. But yeah, that is... I've got a few other things for as far as safety goes. I should try to find them. Oh, here's a good one. This truck rental, nice, brand new. At the time, it was brand new. This is from 2018. So the guy parked next to a steel bin. He was pulling away. He heard a scraping. He panicked and he stepped on the gas and just scraped the whole side of this truck. So they were charged for quite a bit of damage for that one. Not very, oh yeah, and he just can opened the thing. Look at this. That door skin is just ripped open. So yeah. All I gotta say is when you pull up near scrap metal bins or anything like that, just be extra careful, get out, look around before you decide to take off. Let that be a lesson. A little bit of damage on the side-by-side. This, people have to be more careful. I believe this was lent to a contractor. This was our lift, our scissor lift, and it was lent to a contractor, and it came back with a bent bar. Well, how did you bend the bar? Like, they must have been going up, got under something, or something got on in between there, and they just kept going up and didn't realize it. Just some documentation. Here's another one. This, you shouldn't be able to see this gap here in this scissor lift. This is not normal. As you can see, this piece here is bent up because it just got pulled up and over it. So what must have happened is they were coming down and they hit something and they kept going and didn't realize it and just popped up that platform. Now this platform usually can extend out from the scissor lift, and maybe that's how they did it, but this is quite the So this had to be sent away to get repaired. There's nothing we could do about it. I mean, there you go. Just a big gap, and you're not supposed to be able to see in there, under there. Yeah, I was just shaking my head. It's just ridiculous that this happened. Those guys, you got to be extra careful. You're using powered equipment, you have to be extra careful. It can go wrong so fast. Yeah, so we had to rent one for ourselves and send this one away to get repaired. What else do I got here? Should have something to show you. What else? What do we got? I believe I was showing everybody some large piles. Just some of the scrap. They were scrapping the what do you call it? The rotating screens, and I believe this is part of them. Part of the looks like pallets and stuff that was left lying around. As you can see, due to the high humidity and heat, this place was just a haven for mold and mildew, and it would just go everywhere. So it was not a clean environment at all. You really had to worry about what you were breathing in if you didn't have your respirator on. Yeah, and it's just, I think I took a picture because it was a big mess left and they could have cleaned it up. When you're dealing with conveyors and such, sometimes things will fall off and get lodged underneath either the impact beds or the rollers that the conveyor rides on, and then you'll get a little bit of buildup. And this is a lot of buildup. And it causes the belt to veer off, and it'll eventually get shut off because it'll hit a switch. Because there are, right here, as you can see, there's these little guides that are connected to limit switches, and as soon as the belt triggers that, it'll shut it off. So you're not picking it up off the ground. Yes, people have to get in there with air wands and just start cleaning stuff out. Here, they were demolishing a building. Demolishing like the largest stainless steel building in North America because of a trouble with the roof. So they did that. And as you can see, they are moving away right along. I think they're about halfway done when I came along to see this. And yeah, there's the roof there of the building. They just used an excavator and a big claw, and it just started biting the sides of it. Once you bite away the supports, it just falls down. Very controlled, very well done. And there it is there. There's the excavator. He's just grabbing it and pulling it down. And it's coming down just nice and easy. But yes, the disposal of an entire building is quite the undertaking. And I was fortunate to be by the side here, and I could see they were moving right along. And I believe I have some video. Yeah, there it is. It's got a thumb on there, a thumb attachment, and a bucket. And I can't remember if he just pushes in on this thing. Yeah, there he is. I'm a little further away. He's moving right along. It was, I think that's April 3rd, 2020. There's still snow on the ground. In April, yes. There's another view of it, looking at it from where these large drum digesters entered that building. But there's no more building to enter. It's all in rubble, and it had to be sorted through. And they kept us out with a fence because, you know, you weren't allowed anywhere near the demolition, just in case. Nothing there, nothing there. I don't think there was anything safety related here. These are just pictures of tanks. There's the video of, I think we're gonna see that guy. There he is. Yeah, he's just reaching over, pulling the roof down. Yeah, quite the scene. I worked for a lot of years in that building, but it was sad to see it go. And yeah, I got to watch how he was doing this job, because I was quite curious. But apparently you just push in, and yeah, and then you move along a little more, and push it in. And there you go. Hey, DJ Ronnie G. Nice to see you. Yeah, just looking at a little bit of demolition of a building that I happened to work in for a while there. That was quite the experience watching that. They sure made it look easy. Cause yeah, it doesn't take much really. Just the thin skin. I guess the uprights, as long as you push those, get those taken care of. But yeah, just like that. Pushes in. We didn't use any kind of explosives or anything for this stuff. It was just strictly excavators. So it was very easily done, it looks like, by them. And that's that. That's the demolition of the building. Yeah, I'd been in that building quite a few years. So yeah. Any questions, anybody, about the skilled trades? It is very important that people get into them because, as we've seen, there is that shortage going on. As we've seen here, it's a shortage. Not just in northern BC is hit hard, but there's shortages in other places as well. This place in Florida, they're working with high schools to get the younger generation interested in the skilled trades. And you will earn good money in the skilled trades. It's pretty amazing. And you won't ever have to worry about losing your job like those people at Amazon or Microsoft, because we saw here Google gets rid of 12,000 jobs, and where did I see it? Microsoft did too. Microsoft got rid of 10,000 jobs. So a lot of these tech sector people are losing their jobs. So I'm not trying to be a jerk when I say maybe they should try to learn a trade or something, or go into the trades. if there's an overabundance of people in the tech sector, you might want to go somewhere where there isn't a lot of people to compete against. Just a suggestion. Yeah, I know you know your stuff as far as coding or whatever it is you might do, network analyst, whatever it might be. But if there's 20 or 30 of you applying for one job or 100 applying for one job, it's going to be hard. If there's places like this in Florida where they are hurting for people, you won't have trouble getting a job at all. So it just makes sense to me that you would want to go and learn a life skill where you can use it at any time and nobody can take it away from you. And it's a lot harder to lay you off when there is a shortage. There's a shortage of skilled workers. We need the skilled workers. I'm hoping everyone will do their best to get into the skilled trades if they can, if they're so inclined. And if you're not, if you're a high school student, you don't know what to do, don't look down on the skilled trades, because they will be some of the best paying jobs, and you won't have any student debt to worry about. You won't have to owe anything to the banks or government or the whoever else you might owe money to when you're trying to get through school. Trade school is not as expensive as university or college. So definitely give it a try. It can only benefit you. I don't see any downside to it. It might be tough in the beginning, but once you're in it for a little while, I'd say maybe 6 months, starting to get the hang of things, depending on which trade you're in, you'll get better and better. Then you'll get paid to go to school, and then you get an automatic raise after you come out of school, depending on how many years your apprenticeship is. The average is about 4 years. Every year that you go to school and you graduate, or that you pass the test for that year, you're supposed to get 10% raise. Boom, done. And then until you get up to journeyman rate, which is whatever it is for that field that you're in. Plumbers, electricians, instrumentation, electrical guys, between $30 and $40 is an hour is, I would say, average. Is there a trade with a low effort to pay ratio? I don't know. How low effort do you want to go, DJ Ronnie G? Do you want to instrumentation electrician or just instrumentation mechanic is pretty good. You deal with low voltage, 4 to 20 milliamps, I think, 4 to 20 milliamps. And you usually don't deal with huge, heavy things. You just deal with like sensors and monitors and stuff like that. Yeah, it could be like PLC work. Yeah, they'll do PLCs. They'll be more on the control side, learning programming and such. But those guys just, from what I remember, those guys just sit in an office with a computer. And I had one of my crew. I had an instrumentation controls guy, and anytime we needed to check something, I'd be like, "Hey, can you force this open? Can you force this valve to move? Can you force this motor to start?" And they'd be like, "Yep, just a minute." And they'd go click. You'd hear click, 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 couple of clicks on the mouse, and they're like, "Okay, it's forced on. Okay, good." And then we could do our troubleshooting, whatever it had to be. So that's a pretty good job, and they get paid top dollar too. I'm pretty sure they were in the $40 range, I think. But yeah, and it depends too. If you go work up north, you're going to get paid more money because you're up north, and you can work in camp jobs where you stay in a camp, and you won't spend any of your money on anything unless you like piss it away on stupid stuff. But a lot of guys go up there and they earn their money, and if they're smart with it, they can leave there and come down and buy a house and stuff like that. If they are so inclined. So I would definitely look into it. And then if you get into the union jobs, there you're starting at, you start at like $45, $47 an hour and work your way up to, $60 an hour. But that's working for a union. So, hey, Angry Canadian, how's it going? Just talking a little bit about the trades here, what it's like and what you can expect. Like there is some good paying ones. If you are in a union and you're up north or whatever, you're gonna be earning between $45 and $60 an hour. So nothing to sneeze at. You're gonna be working a lot of hours too, especially when you're up north. I'm sure there are 12-hour days. Sometimes they'll have like shifts like 7 and 7, which 7 days on, 7 days off, or 14 and 2, stuff like that. They do crazy stuff like that. I don't care for that myself. I don't like to work lots of hours. I think I'm past that point in my life right now where I want to work, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. It sure wears you out badly. There is a list here, and all I did was type in list of trades in America. Most people are from America in my viewership. If you could do your short life all over again, you'd choose a trade job. I've known guys that are 50 years old and they're just getting their apprenticeship. So the excuse that you're too old for it doesn't fly. Anybody can start at any time. What is it? What do we got here? Okay. So building trades, there's carpenter, carpet installer, electrician, heavy equipment operator, insulator, landscaper, painter, plumber. In the mechanical trades, auto mechanic, HVAC, machinist, mechanical drafter, locksmith, mechanical insulator, elevator mechanic, mechanical installer. Yeah, elevator mechanic is neat. That's its own little sort of sub-trade that you learn. The industrial trades, this is what I'm in. Steam engineer, cargo freight agent, iron worker, line installer and repair, paving equipment operator, metal fabricator, asbestos worker. They don't have industrial mechanic, but that's what I do. Medical trades, dental assistant, paramedic, phlebotomist, respiratory therapist, clinical laboratory technician. Yeah, this is a good site. How to become a machinist apprentice. I mean, machinist is a very good job as well. You're making things, you're using machines to help make things, you're using measuring tools, you're being very precise, measuring to like 1/1000ths and sometimes 1/10,000ths of an inch to do your job, using micrometers and such, depth gauges. That is a good one. You become very skilled at making things. People are very reliant on you to make things using either a lathe, milling machine, stuff like that. The good money is in programming as well. If you can program for CNC, which is computer numerical controlled, then you can just travel around to places that use your machine tools. When a company needs something programmed, then they'll call you, you program it, and then they'll just hire an operator to just put in blanks, and then once it's finished machining, take the finished piece out and put in another blank. That's usually how things go as far as CNC. When I want to talk about aircraft mechanic trade, another guy who would be interested in sharing his experience too. Oh, nice. Yes, that would be neat. I would like to have someone on the show that is in a different trade than myself. That way I could find out more about it, ask them questions. I think that'd be great. We'll have to see if we can't get that set up. Yes. So this is all that they are. This isn't all of them, but this is some examples of them out there. So the thing you do is you type in trades in and then whatever area you live in. And then you can go onto a job search site like Indeed, type in the trade, and then see how many pop up in your area. And you can see too, you can just type in apprentice and there'll be places that will hire apprentices. And that will be your way to start. Tell them, I'm not an apprentice. I'm very interested in learning to be whatever trade it is, and I'm willing to start right now. And they'll either say yes or no, depending on, if you fit the bill for what they want. So it's all pretty easy, really. But like I was saying, Angry Canadian, showing that there is a shortage. There's a shortage of skilled trades everywhere. Yes, agriculture is considered a trade. And actually, when I was doing heavy equipment technician, there was a few guys there that were doing they called it ag. And it was their agriculture for heavy equipment. So they could work on combines and stuff like that. So that would fall under the heavy equipment technician trade. Or they used to be called heavy duty mechanic. Call it heavy equipment technician. So yes, definitely we'll get some. Once again, this place is in Florida. They're looking for people for HVAC, plumbing, and electrical. So HVAC is always going to be in demand. In the winter, people want heat. In the summer, they want AC. So you're going to always be busy. And not just repairing them when they break down, but just doing the routine maintenance, keeping the filters clean, changing them out, making sure everything's okay. Plumbing. Your hot water heater goes wrong, or your toilet's backing up, something. You're always going to call a plumber, There's a leak and it's not stopping. Electrical. What happens? You want a new panel in your house, or you need a breaker or something done, or the outlet you keep plugging into is like zapping and shocking, it's not grounded properly. Better call an electrician because you don't want your house to burn down. So they'll take care of it. I mean, these guys in Florida said they can't. They have to turn down jobs because they don't have enough people to do the work. It's terrible. But yes, I would say any chance, any opportunity, tell the younger generation that, you're not going to be a YouTube star. You're not going to be a TikTok sensation. You're not going to earn money that way. You're not going to earn enough to live. But if you decide to get into the trades, I believe you will be able to have all the things you want. Your own house, a nice, fast car, or a luxury car, whatever you want to buy. Anything you want. You want that new PC? Work some overtime. Boom, there you go. You want to take a vacation? Just you and the little woman off to some tropical resort, all expenses, all inclusives. Work some overtime. Boom, off you go. Book your 2 weeks. You're gone. You're relaxing in the sun. It is beneficial for anyone to go into the trades. Hey, CRC, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Just explaining the virtue, the place, how things can be if you're in the trades. What can occur? Life can be a lot better than getting into student debt. Not sure why parts of the American political system discourages trade jobs. Trade jobs make good money. Yeah, you know that, and I know that. But why is there's still this stigma attached to people that work in the trades? It's a skill that can never be taken away from you once you learn it. Nobody can take it away. There's a demand. The demand is out there. You're always going to be working. Work as little or as much as you want. And depending on who you work for, you're going to make good money. And they're going to want to pay you good money because if there's the shortage, they're going to try to keep you so that you don't get, headhunted by another company. There's a stigma, this stigma of it being a dirty job. Man, oh man. Yeah, I don't understand that. You have to get going? Okay. Yeah, you bet, Angry Canadian. We'll chat it up live one day. We'll have to try to get a time where we're both up and not at the limits of our tiredness. Yes, I look forward to it. You can DM me on Twitter too if you want. I'd really like to talk to that aircraft mechanic fella. But yeah, the stigma of a dirty job, I don't get that dirty. I work in a chemical plant, and the most I get on me is maybe some grease. Oh no, grease, yikes. I wear my nitrile gloves, so that doesn't bother me. A little bit on your coveralls. Oh no, I'm not getting just covered in anything disgusting. Even when I worked at the garbage dump, even when doing that, like the worst you would get on, well, human waste would be the worst thing you got on you, but you'd always wash up and everything like that. Yeah, you'd get dirty, but that was the extreme, I think, right there. Other times, people doing welding jobs or machinists or anything like that, those are pretty clean jobs. When you're a heavy equipment operator, you're operating a piece of equipment all day, like an excavator or a bulldozer or anything like that. You don't get much cleaner. You're operating a piece of machinery, and it's it's clean inside. So unless you're crawling around underneath the machine, you're going to be clean. An electrician is usually a pretty clean job as well. Especially if you work residential and commercial. Industrial, you might get a little dirty, but that's okay. It's all part of the job. That's why you get paid the money. And you get clean coveralls all the time, so it shouldn't be that big of a deal. What else? Iron worker. You're working outside. You're putting up a building. I don't see it getting that dirty. Anyway, I think that's it for me. Ranted enough. Hopefully you guys enjoyed yourselves. I know I did. Please take that time to slap that like button. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. I'll be here every week on Tuesdays, barring any kind of rescheduling I have to do, but I will always have Trades Talk Tuesday to chat with everyone about the trades, and you can ask questions, and hopefully I have the answers for you. So, I would just like to thank everyone that came by, like David from the Underground, and Alex Moore, and Godzillionaire, and DJ Ronnie G, and Angry Canadian, and the Comic Relief Crusader. It's always good to see you guys stop on by. So please, spread the word, tell your friends all about me. Hopefully they decide to show up as well. We can all have a good chat together about things in the industry. There's other channels out there too. These guys do good content. I've personally watched them myself. Guys like Mike from Pacific 4 and 4, Blaine from Blaine's Escape Corner, Ronan66. In the chat today, DJ Ronnie G. Check out his channel. There's Brandon the anime guy. There's the Nerdporeal Lifeform. And Punkwaddle, who is from Floral from Under a Rock. And also in the chat today, the Comic Relief Crusader. Make sure you check out his channel. Just like, as well as the Underground. I know they've got some good material that they put out there. Like watching those guys play this game called The Raft. It's pretty good. Oh yeah, not a problem, CRC, not a problem. I'm out there on Discord. My Discord is called The Shop because, you know, that's where tradesmen go. They hang out at the shop. Hey, I appreciate that, CRC. Us little YouTubers got to stick together. Give ourselves a little bit of a little plug for each other. I'm out there on Twitter. And I've got some videos up on Bitchute, Odysee, and Rumble. Just because they're not as heavy-handed with the copyright slaps like YouTube. Coming up on Saturday is my gaming stream where I'm playing Game Boy Advance games. This one is called Astro Boy. So it combines video games and anime, two of my favorite things. So I am having a good time with that. If you tune in, you're going to get a lot of fast-paced action from what I've been playing. And some of those bosses are incredibly difficult, but a little challenging to get through, but it's all well worth it. So, Saturday, game day. Sunday is anime chat day. So, that's when I pick an anime to review, and I'll tell you about it and tell you whether it's worth watching or not. Might even watch a few clips from it. But most of the, and for this month, January is a sports-themed anime. So all this month has been sports-themed. Hey, no problem, Underground. Thanks for the shout-out. Yeah. And Dead Space Remake Friday. Oh, look at you. Dead Space Remake. Yeah, that sounds all right. You hear that, everybody? Get out there. Don't forget, Friday, Dead Space Remake on the Underground channel. But yes, sports-themed anime on Sunday for me. I haven't figured out what it's going to be yet, so it'll be a surprise for me, and it'll be a surprise for you too, hopefully. But I will pick a sports anime, and hopefully it will be good. I've already done volleyball, hockey, baseball, sumo. So just one more. What will it be? And of course, next week on Tuesday will be Trades Talk. Once again, I'll be here. I will be telling everyone the virtues of being in the trades. Soccer, Prince of Tennis. I don't know. What will it be? You'll have to tune in to find out. I'll try to surprise everybody. Other than that, I was very happy to have everyone come out. I'm very grateful. And I hope everyone spreads the word about the trades. It's very important, I think. We should all look into, well, those of us that are in it already, that's fine, but the ones that aren't in it, we should try to turn them on to it, see if we can get more people into it. But other than that, I want to thank you guys for coming. I was very appreciative, and until next time, everyone, I'm Pop Culture Mechanic, and I am signing off.